The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café.
Welcome to this episode of Pit Life BBQ. Gather around the pit with your hosts, Johnnie Mags and Messy Mike. Let's talk barbecue.
What's up, everybody? Coming to you live from the Studio 21 Podcast Café in Salem, New Hampshire. It's the Pit Life BBQ podcast where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other topics that you normally talk around the pit. As always, I'm joined by Messy Mike.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Nothing much. What's going on?
Too much to list.
I haven't talked to you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Things good? Things busy.
Things are very busy.
Yes.
Very busy. Busy. Oh, goodness.
And we have another guest today.
We have a wonderful guest today coming to us live from Ottawa, Tennessee, Mr. Steve Ray of the Owls Nest BBQ show. Steve, what's up, buddy?
Hey, guys, what's going on up in New Hampshire?
Hey, Steve. It sucks.
Why is it so bad?
It's cold. It's raining.
We're having like a second winter right now.
Yeah.
You're getting what we got all last week.
Oh, is that's what it's coming up?
Well,
You know what they call the first sunny day after 3 days of rain in Chattanooga?
No.
Monday.
It's true.
Very true statement.
Every Saturday and Sunday. It just rains every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then Monday's beautiful.
Exactly. Oh.
But we grill in the rain. On Mother's Day, I went to Knoxville to see my mom, and we did steaks in the rain. Nothing stopped us, guys.
Nope.
Nice.
We carried on.
Absolutely.
Freaking miserable, but we carried on.
But you're barbecuing, so that's good.
Well, I'm so glad to be. I'm stoked to be on the show with you guys. I've been watching y'all for about 3-4 months now, and y'all got a great setup there, and you've always got good guests. And how about Junior Urias a couple weeks ago? Man, what a great conversation you had.
Yeah, he had some good stories.
Yeah, he's a real good guy.
He's top drawer. That guy is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, neighbor Frank couldn't join us.
He had work and then take his wife to the doctor. See, when you get our age, you do two things: you work and you go to the doctor. You do your whole work schedule around your doctor's schedule.
There we go. I'm working at avoiding the doctor.
Well, I did until wait till you hit 55, Johnny Mags, then it's all downhill.
I feel it.
I felt 55 about 10 years ago.
Oh.
That's my only regret about it. I didn't learn to do barbecue until I was 55. I wish I had learned about 20 years earlier.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So you had a wonderful post today. So we have Steve has a little countdown running. I think we got 13 days. 13
days to Memorial Day. And that's the kickoff.
Ooh, that's really the
you know the Super Bowl is July 4th, and I say that the Memorial Day is the conference finals to see who goes to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And it's a great day. We have a big event here in our neighborhood all the time, and of course we close our business, and we all have a big get together. So here in Ottawa, it does kick off the start of the summer, no doubt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
So you have like a big block party?
Yeah, we have a block party. The pool at our little club opens, and everybody will be going down there, and they'll have hot dogs, hamburgers. I'm trying to talk them in to letting us do some barbecue, and I think I've just about got them talked into it.
Nice.
Now you actually you had a hell of a video out yesterday that caught my attention. Did some burgers on the drum.
On the pit barrel cooker. I sure did. That was I've got a little barbecue supply store next to my gas station, and I was sitting there looking at those things, and I thought, you could grill on this thing. If I could just get the heat closer to the grate, this thing would make a great grill. And so I did a little research, and a couple of guys that owned pit barrel cookers, they had already done it. So I looked it up and see how they did it, and I modified it just a little bit. And we did burgers for the guys at lunchtime, and it worked great. So I told everybody that I was turning the pit barrel cooker into the pit barrel grill for the lunchtime.
So I got a question. So I've made a UDS with out of like the Big Papa kit.
Yeah, I've done that, Mike. Sure have.
Is the pit barrel similar, or is it, with the pieces of rod going through the top, it's mostly you're hanging a lot of stuff?
Well, no, it's very similar, except it's easier to use, and for me, it's easier to control than the bigger drum.
Okay.
Those rods that go through there are actually what you use to regulate the heat. Those act as your top vent. It's very unique. Huh. There's a little vent in the bottom that you, believe it or not, depending on your altitude, like we're at about 800 feet. No, I think we're 550, maybe 800 feet here in Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. And you open that slot about 3/4 of an inch on the bottom, and those rods at the top are what let the air flow through it.
Okay.
And you can increase and decrease by, taking a rod out or putting a rod in, taking a rod out and covering the hole with a magnet, mm-hmm. if you want to. And that's kind of the key to operating that smoker. If you operate it the way that Noah Glanville tells you to do it in the instructions and on YouTube, mm-hmm. that barrel will sit and percolate at 265 degrees for about 6 to 8 hours. It's a wonderful cooker.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
At $299, it's a can't miss price point.
Oh,
it does everything. I always compare it to the green egg. A lot of guys down here, they'll buy the green egg, fellas, and green eggs are great. Don't get me wrong. But they put them in there. They put them in the corner of their deck, and they never use them mm-hmm. because they're so complicated to use. They don't understand the offset. You had to put the offset on, trying to find the temperature right, because you've got to practice with that egg to get that temperature right. With this barrel, you don't have to practice for anything. You just set it up, follow the instructions, and literally everything in that box, it's already put together. You could open that box and you could be smoking meat in 40 minutes as soon as you open it.
Wow.
I just can't say enough good things about it. I've had mine for about 3 years, and that's why I decided to sell them, because I had Weber's. I've got Weber's. I've got John and Messi. Mike, you can imagine the number of smokers I've got. Mm-hmm. That for my home use, that pit barrel cooker is the one I always use because it was so easy, and it makes meat, and the taste is just great. And plus, you can hang meat, you can put it on a grate, mm-hmm. You can use it for a grill. There's just so many things you can do with it.
Yeah, our friend Bill from Chicken Fried BBQ, he actually just put in the chat to use a vortex on the bottom rack, because that'll shoot the heat up.
Well, I know what he's talking about. There's that one fellow that builds drums kind of created that vortex. But the way this is designed, that barrel and the way the basket sits in the bottom, the live charcoal's in the bottom, you could use a vortex and you would accomplish about the same thing that barrel does. It's weird because you think when you hang meat off that thing, Mike, like a rib, ribs about that long. Mm-hmm. You hang that off that rod, you're only about that far from the basket of charcoal, and you think, wow, I'm going to burn this thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. That air in that bottom, the way the air comes in through the bottom hole, it circulates.
Rotates around the meat.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not hitting it directly. We did a brisket on Saturday, and that brisket, the bottom of that brisket, the point was literally that far from the briquettes in the basket. Wow. Didn't burn it one bit. It just made it tasted great.
Oh, well, plus you're getting the drippings, directly above.
Bingo. Yep. Exactly. The drippings drip in there, and the flavor is just exemplified.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
That's why it's such a great cooker. If everybody would go to the videos, YouTube, and watch Noah, the owner of the company, watch him do this. And then, go to retailer. You can go to a retailer like me, or you can get them online. They're all the same cost, $2.99. Mm-hmm. Everything in that box, you're cooking ready. You don't have to buy anything. You're ready to go.
Does it come with wheels? Does it come on wheels?
No, it comes on a little stand. Now, what I did, I like to move mine around. And what I did, I went to Ace Hardware and I bought a piano dolly. And I anchored the base to the piano dolly. And I just put the cooker up on the base, and I can push it around wherever I want.
That's smart, yeah.
That's a great idea.
$21, and you're totally mobile.
Rolling, yeah.
A lot of people put wheels on them, but you don't have to.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, because then you got to lock them too. So that's a nice idea.
Yeah, exactly. So it won't roll away.
Mm-hmm.
They're
saying enough good things about the pit barrel. It's you guys ought to split one, Johnny and Mike, and get together and use it. I swear you won't use anything else at home. It's tough to beat it.
And it's smaller than a 55-gallon drum.
It's 30. I think it's 33.
Okay.
I think it's a 33. It may be 30, but I always called that a 33 gallon. It's the same size drum almost as if you ever worked at a garage where the 80 or the ball joint lube would come in. It's about that size of a barrel.
Okay.
Yeah. And, the ones that you always see at the gas stations in the corner they use for trash cans.
Yep.
It's that size.
Okay. That's not bad.
That's how I knew what size it was.
You lost me with the car talk.
That's all right. Definitely. Yeah, there may or may not be a vortex sitting at my house right now.
Nice. Jeez.
Not sure. I got the confirmation, but you never know. But let's get into the backyard cook.
I want to see Johnny's house after everything comes in, like at the end of the year, and just film all your stuff.
You know what?
You're gonna look like Steve Storr.
That's all right.
It probably will. It's it's a passion. The backyard cooking is, I started with one and saw another one, and I didn't get rid of the one I had, and I just kept adding to it. Then I got into competition barbecue, and that's where it went crazy. And all of a sudden the house was. I'll tell you a story. I bought this one smoker called a Superior from this fellow that used to make them somewhere up in northeast of Atlanta. It's a real big, not real big, but it's a 3-rack charcoal gravity fed smoker. And I bought that thing, and it's really nice. And then lo and behold, I go on Craigslist, and there's a guy that's got one for sale in Chattanooga, like half the price that I paid for mine. It had been used once. So I went over and looked at it. It was brand new. So I bought it. So I got 2 of these things that look exactly alike. And I had to hide them from my wife. You got to remember, they weigh like, 800 pounds a piece. So I rolled one at the house, and then I had another one sitting out at the gas station. And she's going back and forth wondering how I got that thing that was so heavy from the house back to the gas station back so quick. I felt like I was what's that magician that makes things appear and disappear?
David Copperfield.
I felt like David Copperfield. Hiding the smoker from. So it gets to be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it absolutely does.
But as long as I use everything, I put them in the rotation. We use everything. And that's what makes, cooking, especially in the backyard, so much fun. And if you have a big cook, Mike, what you got to do, and I'm sure you guys have done it too up there for churches and lodges and whatever you guys, Knights of Columbus and whatever, if you get a big cook going, you got to use them all.
Oh yeah.
So you'll line them up in the driveway, and you'll have 5 or 6 smokers going.
Oh yeah. That's why I just buy one big one.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a big one too that'll hold 40 butts, but I still got the little ones that'll hold about 9 and 10 apiece.
Yeah. So your gas station's Midnight Oil, which that's an awesome name. So
it is a great name. It is a great name.
The guy that thought it up was he was working late one night. And he was trying to think of a thing to bring all his smaller customers together. And he's thinking, I'm sitting here burning the Midnight Oil, and then he goes, "There you go." And so that's how it started. I think it's a great name.
That's cool. Now, did you have the space where your barbecue supply store is? Was that just part of the space, and you just figured out a better way to use that area?
No, I years ago I sold golf carts, and I added it as my golf cart showroom. And that business went south during the recession, so we kind of moved our tire business and our waiting room in there. And then a year ago, February, we had a terrible fire. It burned the back garage and that room. It damaged that room with smoke and water damage. And I had been selling Butcher BBQ products in there prior to the fire, and they were doing really good. So when we remodeled and rebuilt, I went ahead and I'm going to just open this barbecue supply store full. I'm just going to go into it, full Monty. And so I've got my waiting room for the customers is in there. And I've got the barbecue supply store, and it works great. I had a fellow in there this morning. He was getting a set of Michelins, I started talking about the pit barrel cookers. He said, I'll take one of those too. So bought a set of Michelin's and a pit barrel cooker to go.
That's awesome.
Johnny, just know you're not having your car serviced there.
That would be my wife's nightmare.
He'd come down for a $39 oil change, $800 in Butcher BBQ products.
That's all right. That's all right. And for any of our listeners who don't know, Butcher BBQ is David Bosca, who is actually the current 2018 Jack Daniel's Grand Champion?
Yes, which makes him the champion barbecuer of the world.
Yeah.
You know, the Jack's kind of like winning the British Open. And when you win the British Open in golf, you are called the champion golfer of the year. And so David is the champion barbecuer of the year.
And also a great guy.
Oh, you guys should get him on your show. David will come on your show in a minute. Just a super fella and smart man. He's a butcher for like 30 years. And he knows about different cuts of meats. He knows what tastes good on meats. And what I like about him, he's a one-stop shop. And, getting back to the backyard cooker, fellas, you go to his website, butcherbarbecue.com, and for a backyard guy that doesn't have that doesn't want to, spend a lot of time going different places, getting different types of rubs, David has the best selection you'll ever see on rubs and injections. He has grilling, this stuff that's called grilling butter. It's an oil that you can use for steaks. He's got the little plastic mixers that you can mix your injection. When you buy injection from him, he gives you the injector. He has all sorts of side items. It's literally a one-stop shop for the backyard guy to get started.
Nice.
Yeah. And what's nice is cell phone's number right on the website. If you get stuck on something, you pick up. You call the number. And, you don't get you don't get a thing that says, welcome to Butcher BBQ, press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish, and then you press 1 and then, leave your name and number. You get a, hello, this is David. I'm here in Chandler, Oklahoma. And that's the way he is.
That's the best kind. But
he'll help anybody.
Leading into today, last week we had the post from Danielle, who loves to cook. Cooks up a storm, everything in the kitchen. But when it comes to barbecue and grilling,
she's lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that would be the great topic on the backyard of any tips and suggestions of someone, who runs into that problem or just getting into grilling or barbecuing themselves. Mm-hmm. The first suggestion I always make, it's really trial and error.
It is
correct.
Because you need to know what you're cooking on. So you need to learn your grill, your smoker. Mm-hmm. The grills, be them propane or gas. Propane and gas is the same damn thing. Propane and charcoal. Know your heat spots, hot areas, and then how it performs. And then it's just really trial and error with timing and. But
like Mick said, the thermometer is very important.
The thermometer,
because they're not going to be able to, do that method with their hand. Touching the fatty part of your hand, touching your fingers. So your best bet is just to have a good digital thermometer. And then,
absolutely.
And then
an instant read thermometer too, so you don't have to
wait there. Yep,
it gets really fast. A smoker is just an oven, and that's all it is. It's just an oven that's instead of electricity, it uses wood to get your temperature.
Yep.
And what I always found, I don't know about you guys, when I decided to barbecue, it was after watching a marathon of barbecue pit masters. I decided I was going to be a pit master, and of course I ran out and got that cheap Lowe's $139 smoker, and went to Sam's and bought a brisket, and tried to do barbecue. Well, I'm just setting myself up for failure. I picked the hardest meat there is to do, picked the worst vessel to do it on. Mm-hmm. And what you need to do is sit back, ask a few questions before you start, and start with the easy stuff. Start with chicken on a smoker, something that's only going to take a couple hours.
Yep.
Then move to ribs, and it's a little bit harder. And then, if when you go to your big meats, Danielle, she can go to a pork butt, something that's a little bit bigger. But fellas, you can't mess up a pork butt.
No, very forgiving.
See, so and leave that brisket for the last. Maybe work on an eye of round. I don't know if guys have ever done an eye of round on a smoker. It's as good as prime rib. I mean, it's delicious. And, because you cook it so slow, you cook it to 135 degrees, just like you would a ribeye, and the taste is great, but it's easy to do. So, don't do like I did, set yourself up for failure. Get a good vessel, get an easy piece of meat, and set yourself up for success, and then you'll build on that.
100%.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of funny because, like you're saying, you built yourself up for failure. I mean, Johnny and I have had many conversations. My first smoker was a $9,000 smoker that you pull behind your truck. That was my very first smoker. That's the only thing I've learned on. So like him, a small Weber, a green egg, it's not my big babies. It's it takes me a little longer, or it's a little more difficult for myself to to maintain some stuff. But if I put one rack of ribs on the Meadow Creek, golden, and I can leave it there and don't have to watch the fire. Everything's maintained.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah, but your vessel.
Exactly. Yep.
You cook. You learn to cook on a Meadow Creek, so you're going to cook on that. And if somebody gives you a pit barrel cooker, you're going to struggle a little bit.
Correct.
Because it's totally different from what you've been cooking on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so that is good advice. If whoever's starting out, find something that you're comfortable with. And, I always suggest, before I started selling pit barrels, I always suggested the Weber Smoky Mountain. But the pit barrel is so much easier to use than a Weber Smoky Mountain.
It is.
You know how easy the Weber is.
Very easy.
The pit barrel is easier to use than a Weber. It's great for the beginner. It's great for the backyard guy. And during contest, I used my pit barrel for my ribs because it cooks ribs so good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys using the barrel. I think.
You hung the ribs, correct?
Oh yes, during contest I sure do.
Yep.
And in the backyard too, I hang the ribs. Absolutely.
We got Bill and Chef are watching. If I'm not mistaken, you guys used at least a Drama UDS for this last weekend's competition, right, guys? They did a competition. I think. I don't know what plate they definitely placed for ribs.
Who's this?
Chef Johnnie and Bill from Chicken Fried Barbecue.
Now, Steve, are you still doing comps, or?
I do local ones right now. I've got a family issue we're dealing with, so I can't travel that much. But Chattanooga, we're so lucky in Chattanooga. We have got so many small local contests that you can do 8 or 9 a year and not have to travel more than 20 miles. Chattanooga is a tremendous activity of food. It's a food hub. Competitions. A lot of chefs are coming here, so we're really fortunate in that respect that you can do. You can drive to. We've got a KCBS event June 1st. That's just 30 miles down the road in Lafayette, Georgia. So that's real close, and all the bigger names will be there. And we've got 2 in Ottawa coming up that we put together. So I'm a backyard guy at heart. And I love cooking for people, but it's fun to get out and compete. To let your stuff stack up against others.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, it's more the partying.
Yeah, it's a party. You're right, because it's a camaraderie.
Exactly. Well, that's the one thing that when I went to my first MBBQ event, it's business. You're talking barbecue, you're learning barbecue, you're doing the comp thing, but at the end of the day, everybody's talking to each other. It doesn't matter if you're on TV or if you're just a backyard guy, and you're sitting down having drinks with everybody, and you're just having a blast. Well,
you've sat around. How many hours have you sat around your backyard doing barbecue, and your buddies come over, and you sit for hours. Sometimes you sit overnight.
Yep.
And telling stories and having cocktails and whatever. And it's a great way of life. That's what I stress most of. And that's why I stress people to slow down and don't worry so much. This hot and fast thing, fellas, is getting crazy out there. Everybody wants to go fast. Everybody wants, how fast can I cook a pork butt? How fast can I do this brisket? It's not meant to be fast. In a contest, they do it fast because they don't want to hang around all day. But I guarantee you, those same guys at contests that are doing it hot and fast, when they're at home, they're breaking out their stick burners and they're doing it low and slow because they like to barbecue.
Yep. Yep. And here we go. They used the UDS, and they took first in ribs, sixth in brisket, and then they did took fourth in chicken barrel house cooker. So they had a hell of a weekend for themselves, them two boys.
Oh my gosh! You look at the National Barbecue League; those guys: Tim Shear, Brett Leininger, Richard Fergalicious, Tim Malloy down in Florida, Rub Bagby down in Florida. They're all using drums. I mean, they've all gone from smokers to drums because it imparts flavor. Because you're cooking right over the charcoal, and I'm telling you guys, it's a different taste. It's more of a barbecue taste that you get when you're cooking right over those coals. It's that Western Carolina style. You've seen those videos on PBS and History Channel where they have the history of barbecue, and they throw those whole hogs over the coals, and they shovel coals in under them. They're cooking over direct heat.
Oh, in History Channel, they got a new show coming out. I think next Wednesday, The Butcher.
The Butcher. I can't wait.
Butcher competition.
Butcher competition.
Yeah. So that's
I can't wait, Johnny. I just can't wait for that
awesome.
show.
Sounds dangerous and cool at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So have you ever taken I read that you took classes. Have you ever taken like butchering classes, like pigs, cows?
No,
okay.
not at all. I couldn't. I mean, I know where all the pieces of meat are just because I've looked at so many diagrams, Mike, but I wouldn't. I've only done one whole hog in my life.
Okay.
It's kind of, I have to come to terms with it. You know what I mean?
Nope, I hear you.
My tree stand is in the frozen food section at Publix.
No, 100%. It bothers me when I go, pick up a pig and the truck pulls in with all the live ones. Like it really, it really bothers me.
And say, go, be free, escape.
Yep.
I like when when Aaron Franklin did a story on, he had that series on PBS and he went to the pig farm and he was explaining how well the pigs are kept. And he was trying to sell this notion that, these pigs are loved and they're catered to. And then he's talking to the guy that raises them and he goes, yeah, we love our pigs. And he goes, and they only have one bad day.
Jesus.
They're there for one reason, man.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. And don't try to sell me on we're so nice to our pigs, because they're dead. I mean, they're walking dead.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I always have a conversation with them before I put them on and kind of make myself feel better, because I am an animal lover.
Yeah, better you than me is what I think.
Listen, go to any grocery store, go into the meat department.
Oh,
everything got there the same way.
100%. 100%. I mean, I've taken some, pig cutting course, and it's very interesting and very, very helpful. But, again, I wouldn't want to. I couldn't kill an animal. The butchering isn't bad, but killing it, nah.
And and Mike, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not a hunter either. I deer hunted twice in my life. Both days it was cold and it was raining. I was leaning up against a tree at 3 a.m. and I was cold and I said, "This is crazy."
Yep.
Why am I doing this? And so I stopped. But it's okay. But you buy a pork butt, buy a shoulder. If you want to get a big meat, buy a big shoulder. Mm-hmm. If you want to go real crazy, buy a brisket. Buy something big and cook it. Absolutely. We're gonna do a whole hog this summer, and I'm not gonna go to confession afterwards or anything. But it's just not my thing. But I'll cook it and I'll get it done. Mm-hmm. I just don't. when you get done with the pig and everybody comes and picks off of it, that's the part that I don't really, I think that's kind of just gross. Everybody's got their hands in there digging food out and eating it because they've been drinking for 8 hours and they're all starving, and they're eating that pig down to the skeletal remains, I guess.
Yep.
That's my only. I would serve it. I would say, you're not coming back here.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
You want ham belly or pork butter ribs? Which one you want.
Yeah. So, Steve, what do you got coming up on your show, the Owls Nest BBQ show?
Tomorrow night, we have Wes Phillips, who is the administrator of the Backyard Smokers page on Facebook. I don't know if you've ever been to that page. Yeah. It's a huge page. Go to Backyard Smokers. And it is a fantastic page for information. Wes lives just south of me in Georgia. We had him on a couple months ago. He's a great guy, a great cook, and he's put together a great Facebook page. And he knows his stuff on backyard barbecue. He's a smart young man, and he's very entertaining. And last time we had him on, we didn't hear enough nice things about him. People said, "Man, that guy's really smart." And we're going to really delve into it tomorrow night at 7 here live on Facebook.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a great show, because it used to, before we switched, we'd get out of here. I'd get home just in time
to watch the show
for Steve to go live. So it was nice combo. So now I got a little bumper in between. I got us on Tuesday. I got Steve on Wednesday. I got CJ on Thursday. And Kent on Thursday. It's a wonderful.
Now tonight
I'm living a pretty damn good life.
John, tonight at 9 is the Barbecue Central
show. Yeah,
Greg Rempe. He's kind of the. I think he's what we all strive to be. He's the major leagues. He's got a meathead on tonight, and he's got Dr. Howard Conyers on as well. And I don't know if you know who Dr. Howard Conyers is. He is he works for NASA in the Jet Propulsion Lab.
Oh,
Jesus. That's just fancy word for, yes, he is a real rocket scientist. And he's also a whole hog expert. And wow. He's a barbecue aficionado and a very a well-renowned barbecue historian. And Greg's going to have him on tonight too. So that's at 9:00 on the Barbecue Central show. So, there's lots of information out there, and there's lots of good shows on there. And that's how I came across you guys is, I like to watch things about barbecue, and I was listening to the way that y'all converse and you talk about it. You talk about the things that I'm interested in. And I think that's why you kind of started watching our show, John, that, we're talking about things in Mike that you're interested in.
Oh, yeah.
And now we can all hook up and promote each other. And, we just want more people to watch us and become involved in barbecue.
That's it. 100%. And it's just like pretty much anything. The more you look into it or read into it or watch into it, the more you're going to learn. You're always looking for the next answer. You don't always have it all.
No.
You can always learn something. So all the shows, and that's it, just watching the TV shows. Every time I'm still picking them up. And they've been on for 10 years.
Oh, yeah. And just like I keep saying, it's, barbecue's different everywhere you go. Barbecue means something different to every single person. So, you go to a barbecue, you're going to taste something different at this barbecue. Same thing with the shows. You watch the show, something different.
I tell everybody, every time I cook a piece of meat, I learn something. And every time I cook a pork butt, I learn something that I didn't know before. And that's the same thing with, getting information about barbecue online and watching the different shows. You will learn something. You'll go, I didn't know that.
Yep.
And you'll use it.
Even if it's just, the stuff I've learned, not even cooking methods, but, putting those, cutting the pieces of PVC, in 24-inch lengths and putting them under the table for a 6-foot table to raise the table.
Is that not a back saver?
So you're not exactly.
Yeah, that was one of the best things we ever learned.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like we were speaking with David Bosca the other night, a couple Wednesdays ago, and he was saying that if you have a grease problem in the bottom of your barrel, put a kitty litter under where you put your basket. He goes, that will absorb that grease. And then you just sweep it up and pour it out.
Great to know, yeah.
I would have never thought about that. And I've worked in a garage for 35 years.
Yeah.
I know what kitty litter does with oil and grease. And it sucks it up and
That's awesome.
just shovel it out. And it never occurred to me to do it. But so I had to listen to a guy from Oklahoma tell me. I felt terrible. I should have known that.
Yeah.
But it's something that you learn.
Yep. And Steve, Kent Vanderweerd gave you the invitation to be on the hot seat with him and CJ, which is usually on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And I will get some information to you on how to contact them. They have a fantastic show.
I watched CJ.
Yeah.
They're a different bunch, aren't they?
Oh, it's a great group of guys. Great group. But yeah, you got the...
Well, they're in California.
You got no, Kent's in Iowa.
No, I know, but CJ's in California.
Yeah, but you got the invitation for them.
Good deal.
Steve, I'd love to thank you for taking some time to shoot the breeze with us, talk a little barbecue and all that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, fellas, so much.
Yeah, where can everybody find you on social media and such?
The Owls Nest BBQ Show on Facebook, the Owls Nest BBQ on Instagram, and that's where I'm at. That's where I am. Owls Nest BBQ, Facebook, and on Instagram.
Owls Nest BBQ.
Awesome, awesome. Ed, how do you want to? I do my thing and then
you do your thing, and we'll run an ad.
All right. We changed it up a little bit.
Well, sure.
But give the bridged version.
Well, that's it for this week, folks. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. You can catch the video on Facebook and YouTube, catch the audio on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and other catches. On social media, find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Pit Life BBQ. We'd love to hear from you. Please send your questions and comments to pitlifebbqpodcast@gmail.com. And as always, please like, rate, subscribe, review, hit that share button, spread the word. And just a quick reminder, tickets are still available for the Mason's Army event through New England Pit Masters. That's June 22nd at the American Legion in Londonderry. And you can find it all on Facebook, Mason's Army page. That'll have all the links.
Or New England Pit Masters.
To get your tickets for that event. Going to be a great event for a great cause. So come out in full force for that. But that's it, Steve. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, fellas. I sure enjoyed it. We'll do it again.
And until next week, keep the smoke rolling.
Barbecue fans, if you're hankering for some meat when you're on the go, I'd like you to try Two Guys Beef Jerky. It's smokehouse cilantro beef jerky with fresh cilantro and a classic blend of spices and flavors. This smokehouse cilantro jerky will quickly become one of your favorites. One bite of this amazing jerky and you'll be hooked. A 3-ounce bag sells for $8 and will sell you 3 bags for just $19.98. That's a 20% savings, but that's not all. For our Pit Life BBQ listeners out there, we've got a special just for you. We'll throw in a bag of our bacon jerky free. This is fiery, sriracha-style bacon jerky, and it's addictive, and it's absolutely free. 3 bags of beef jerky and a bag of bacon jerky for just $19.98. That's a $12 savings right there, and that's still not all. Order now and put BBQ as your coupon code, and we'll even pick up the shipping. Go to twoguys.com/jerky. That's the number 2guys.com/jerky. Put 3 beef jerkies in your cart and put the coupon code BBQ and we'll automatically include a free bacon jerky and cover the shipping costs. 2guys.com/jerky. That's the number 2guys.com/jerky. 3 bags of the best beef jerky you ever tasted. It's 1 bag of the addictive bacon jerky and free shipping on the whole order. Order today because this offer expires soon. 2guys.com/jerky.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.